All right, so I did a video the other day. Haven't really been feeling this, you know? I guess I can continue to pretend like I'm just speaking with myself. So the reason I began doing this was simply for me initially to get over my own limitations in self-expression. Now, in life, a lot of what I do, I have to find a meaning in it. I have to feel a meaning. It has to be meaningful in order for me to put energy into it. That's a limitation of my own um, awareness, I suppose, my own consciousness. But it's only a limitation when I compare it to what I'm trying to do. You know, in day-to-day, everyday life, meaning is key. A lot of what we do, we do it because it's habitual. We're not even aware of the meanings for what we do. It's there's a tension within us, and we're doing things in order to get it out. This is how a lot of habits begin. Using astrology, I can put the reasons into a logic that can be explained and understood. So if you study this system, then it's sixth house energy, essentially. Now, sixth house energy is routines, day to day. It's your work, it's your health. You can see in this chart, I'm using, let me tweak this real quick. Actually, hold on. I've got the new moon up, so let me do something for a moment. I mean, Placidius is not a big deal. I mean, it's pretty similar to porphyry. Let me get to the settings here. Where the hell is it? All right. All right, we're going to do that. I'm going to edit this. We're going to save it afterwards because I want to talk on this chart. And then we'll get back into it. But essentially, let's open this back up. So sixth house here. To me, if you want to understand something in any facet of life, you don't need a system. What are you looking at first? The instrument of the self is what's in relation to your observation. So right now I'm staring at this laptop. There's a TV in front of me. I'm in an Airbnb right now. The energy is good. It's calm. It's relaxing. I just ate. I'm feeling good. What's here in front of me is helping to define me. So if you look at a chart, you've got the AC, the perception, the self, and the other, which is reality. Being is I'm human. For me, relation to other people is very important, even though it's not easy. It's the only thing that can help to define me. It's the only thing that can help to bring me reason, meaning in life. And so naturally, when you are in relation to something, You can understand it from, well, there was a time before you were not in relation to whatever that is, and there will be a time after when you are not in relation to whatever that is. But your awareness scales between the pre and post awareness. This is maturation, this is progression, this is how we learn, grow, relate. This is life, essentially. It's progressional. So sixth house is the opening quincunx, the work, the working relation of the self to reality. Okay. So I've got a lot of sixth house energy. It's important for me to be established in that. And so what I do has to have a meaning. What I do is a precursor to who and what I'm in relation to, regardless of whether we're close, friends, enemies, or whatever. And what happens afterwards is the transformation. It is the future. It is the culmination, the cultivation. It is something that is controlled through ignorance. Awareness constrains, binds, and it hijacks whatever the future may bring. Because usually when we are doing this controlling thing, it's the ego, the mind, it's in reflection, it's in observation, it's an echo response. And the most it can do is it can try and honor the feelings within you, but you have to discover what those are in the process. And a lot of our shadows, a lot of this 12th house energy, a lot of this deep psyche is brought to awareness through the transformation of what we do, who we're in relation to, and the results of that. Now, I don't analyze things in life in order to try and control them. I'm about optimization and improvement and things like that. But it is more so I have an understanding of cycle. So I have an understanding of all the patterns and the things I see in these little aches and frauds and these hooks that I can feel deep within that seem to repeat. When you're aware of these things, you try and understand. And in the process of trying to understand what they are, you push yourself into things that are more uncomfortable. And that's the process of life for me. And I feel a lot of people. Now, the sixth house energy. So I haven't felt a lot of value in what I do because what I was doing was essentially just for me. It was for me to overcome a lot of things within myself. I feel like I'm over that. But it's like if you're, for instance, if you draw a lot, if you are creative, if you are artistic, or if you like cooking or whatever you do, work-wise, anything, you slowly make improvements and you actually don't realize how much of an improvement you've made until one day you wake up and it's no longer a chore, it's no longer an issue, it's no longer difficult, or someone brings it to your awareness, or a situation brings it to your awareness, or you sit and you realize where you are in relation to where you used to be. So I want to speak about what I'm going through, what a lot of people are going through. And I've seen some comments in my last video, and I have, so my family, we're not close, but they're close. I value my family, even if I don't agree with them. They're the most important people in my life. And there's been a lot of losses in my family the past week. well, by lot too. But, they've impacted people that are close to me and impacted me as well. One was very close to me for the first 12 years of my life. And that's a slow digestion. It's a reminder. One of the reasons I did this was because much of my life I didn't do anything. I didn't seek to fulfill myself or seek to fulfill my own potential. I was a vessel. I saw value of myself in relation to raising my family, building a family, supporting those I cared about, nurturing spirit. Now that I'm in another phase of life, I mean, I didn't completely drop that duty, that expression of my energy, but I've transformed. My daughters are older. I got divorced. I quit my career and I seek to cultivate myself. The problem is I'm not exactly sure how to do that. I'm trying to figure out what that is. So I'm trying to find meaning and value in what I do. Now, I see a lot of people successful on YouTube, and honestly, their information is just pure shit. It's garbage. We're in the age of gurus, but I can't really judge it because people are resonating with people that are bringing awareness, so to speak. And I just don't resonate with a lot of people. A lot of people don't um, value what I value or see things the way I see it, which is good, actually. So I'm not for everyone, but it's like, how do you make a living doing this? I have to figure out what my living is. I have to figure out what is going to bring value to me, but also continue to share what I think is valuable for others and the people who are my people, so to speak, I guess. This language here, it's dynamic. I can find a communal tongue that I can share with others. You don't need to be into astrology. You don't need to understand it to understand what I'm saying because I'm trying to relate it in down to earth, everyday life experiences. I'm a micro to macro person. So for me, value is in my expression. If I can find value in it, regardless of whether it's valued by others, then it's worth my time. But there are other things the life demands that I can't achieve with just doing this. So I'm trying to figure out what that is. Mm. I'm trying to bring spirit to form, essentially. All right, so with these energies that I'm feeling, the energies that people close to me are feeling, there's very cathartic. There's a promise of catharsis in the future through events that are happening here now. and events that happened way, way back when. How I can understand this, how I can see the dots, how I can follow the progression to understand what it is and relate it is through Saturn here. Now we got Saturn at 0 Pisces, just went direct a few days ago. Since then, there's been a lot of energy. I can feel this. This is different. I feel it heavily. Now I've got Saturn most aspected, conjunct my MC, if you look at the chart here, this arrow to the top, this is the MC right now. This is like your career objective, the directory from which you come and the home here. Everyone's got one in their chart. So my Saturn is there. Now, if you look at your chart, think of it as the static and think of it as the progression. So you're always combining the living energies. Try not to limit them to a static. Even try not to limit it to what you know and the language that you've learned in life, just like every experience, you know. The knowledge tethers us to these binding statics. And we need that. We need a building block to understand the self, but we limit ourselves to what we know, which is natural. And I try not to do that. So systems, I love them and I hate them. So my Saturn here is activated, and it is a transformative process. Now, for all of us, if you look at Saturn here, it's 0 Pisces. This is the opening quincunx from the Libra point, the galactic center's galactic center. So this is highly transformable. It is bringing in transpersonal energies through the collective psyche in relation to the experiences of this world, here now, and from the past. That which has brought us to where we are today. Every breath brought us here. And if you think about life, it is a transformative process. Even if you're in a state of devolution, you become addicted to drugs, you become self-destructive, you sacrificed yourself, you martyred your potential. You are still growing through those processes, whether you can accept it or you're aware of it or not. So that's what the Saturn is here now, going direct. Now, being in the UK, I can see the spirit of this city is very old. This energy in this place is very old. I like the energy of the lands. And I see where psyche is limited to the constraints of the polis here, of the city. I go out in public and I see there are a lot of different people. There's a lot of different cultures here. I like that. But I'm highly empathic. When I am around people, I can feel their prejudice. I can feel their fear. I can feel their emotions. Old towns, big towns, there's a lot of bureaucracy. You have to become a little bit cold in order to function in these societies, in these cities, in these relations, because you can't exactly affect change out there. You can only affect it within yourself. And deep down, I feel every one of us, we want to be understood and we want to understand and we want to be in relation. We want the golden rule. But we can't find that in a manufactured world. We can't find that in the echo response of a dying groan. So this is what we're faced with. So I feel like a lot of people that come from different cultures, specifically second, third world, when they integrate into a first world, they feel how fake, false, phony it all is. And it threatens that which is of value to them. It threatens the purity of where they come from. And let's face it, a lot of people that come from different areas of the world where there's more violence, where there's more closed-minded, iron-fisted dictatorship of mind, spirit, body, it is a threat to their very being, to the spirit of their ancestors. So there's a lot of contention, I feel, in these people here that are coming into this country. And I feel like maybe some people feel optimistic and hopeful and open when they get here, but after they run into the bureaucracy of the shit show, it forces them into their cliques, into their communities, into their clans, and they become more fragmented. And as you can see, this world now, it's highly polarized. We're breaking into people that are progressive and people who are degressive, people who are for a utopian dream and people who are for protecting the values of tradition. Now, this is where Saturn devours its young. This is where the Tower of Babel crumbles. This is where society asks us to give our shadows to it, where we must worship it in order to be part of it, essentially. And this is a problem I have maybe with my own self-expression in this world because I can't fake bullshit. I can't hold up bullshit. I can't regurgitate stuff that other people um, hold value in, the fads, the algorithmic common sense logic on how to get ahead in this system. I can't embrace that kind of stuff. So I'm struggling with trying to find my place in this shit show because I don't value it, essentially. It doesn't mean that I don't value other people who hold value in it because they're trying to figure out who they are in relation to this world. It means I cannot swallow their delusions as my own. And so there's other contention that rises in relation. I'm open to hearing perspectives and learning, but I can't feel for you. I've already felt enough for myself. And I know deep down that you can only know the world or others as deeply as you've known yourself. I know we're all human. We all have um, we all have the same emotional experiences in varying degrees, and we're all tuned to different frequencies, different songs. We're tuned differently. So it's like, how do you find relation to that in this world? Now, I'm learning that I shouldn't give a shit about being understood by other people as much as I have cared. And I realize those are old experiences I had, programming of my early imprinting days. And we all got these things. So what do we do? How do we stand in our value in a polarized world? Let's look at Saturn here through the archetype of Uranus and Mars. Mars, that individual will, the ego of the will in relation to this world. What feeds your passion? What nourishes your body? How do your muscles operate in this world? How do you get energy into this body to express, to move? What is it you do? What drives you? Some people, they work long hours so that they can party. Other people, they work long hours so that they can get praise. Other people work long hours to support their families, to build a family, to build a legacy. Uranus, what is your unique expression? What is the freedom of your expression? What is the wound which has kept you from being who you truly are? And what is your process in realizing that? So when you get the opposition here between Mars and Uranus, you are faced with where your own will has limited you because you are in the shadow response to this Gemini energy here, the transformation of Scorpio, because you are in the deep emotional processing of your own experiences, your own woundings, or those that were projected upon you through Libra here. So Uranus is the value that's transforming within us, and it's the courage for us to push through that, to realize it. Now, I'm going to speak generally about these transits. Now, you could think of the transits as you walk in, or when you're a kid, you go to the skating rink, the roller skating rink, whatever. There's a DJ, usually a bad DJ, blasting some crap, you know. Some of it's good, some of it isn't. Regardless of whether or not you like the music, it's on. So you're feeling that. That's what the transits are. It is solar winds raining through us, you know, the ether of reality, so to speak. The programming of the matrix, whatever you want to say, it's the code. We're in these frequencies, these energies. We're dancing to some music here. We don't realize it. So there's a new moon happening in Scorpio, 20 degrees, basically 21 degrees. We'll round it up here. Now this is third decan Scorpio stuff. Opposing Uranus. This is big because Uranus come out of that Saturnian square the past few years. So that was the triggering of our value change when Saturn was in Aquarius, which is modern day ruler is Uranus. So this is a realization of what once was through what could be, but we have to realize it within ourselves to achieve it. So we see the polarity of the world. They're trying to break us into these paint by number teams, you know. And if you reduce anything to simplest terms, you usually have to sacrifice a lot of the truth, a lot of the value of what it is. Just look at commercially produced goods, foods. The quality is not that good. The nutritional value is very substandard. And we call that progress because it's the social contract that we agree to in order to benefit from the convenience. So when you're trauma bound and you can't face a lot of what you got within yourself because there's no language in the world around us, then we fall into these polarized hot button issues, and that's how politics works essentially. Whether you're smart, whether you're dumb, doesn't matter. If you're in relation to society, you're in relation to it. You are it. So how are we changing in these times? How can you come to grips with your own emotional development? How can you understand where you've been and where you're going through what you could be? Well, for me, it's challenging myself to do things I have not done, things that I'm not comfortable with. It's learning the value of what it is that I've already accomplished. And to do that, I have to feel into what it is that's holding me back in a way. It's not easy, but it's worth doing, as all things are that aren't easy. I mean, there are things that are dead, like if you've got an abusive spouse, lover, if you've got a friend who just brings it down, you don't have to keep going back to that dynamic. You have to realize, is this worth my time? Is this worth my energy? If not, move forward. You know, if your job is no longer benefiting you, enriching you in your full potential, how can you try and change that? Now, for me, I jumped before I knew because I need to feel what it is I do. You might be different. You might be more analytical. You might read signs differently. We all got our ways. But embracing Mars here in this new phase, conjunction to this new moon, in the sign of Scorpio, Mars, the ancient ruler of Scorpio. We've got Mercury that just went into Sag, which is opposing the transformation of Gemini. So Mars and Mercury are very powerful for us. So how can you put the work of your own experiences into a forward thrusting direction? How can you cultivate your awareness around your desire? How can you bring that into fruition? Best you can, knowing you're going to make mistakes, knowing you don't have all the answers, knowing that you may have to retread, go back, course correct, any mistakes or any setbacks that may arise. You got to make what you do valuable. You have to recognize that what you can do in this world is more worthwhile than what you can't do, and you got to move in that direction. You will figure it out as you go. Now let's just look at the dynamics of Scorpio for a moment. Scorpio's opening quincunx is Aries, okay? Now Aries is the creative pioneering energy. It is the spirit which is sparked into existence. When you have an epiphany, you can think in its epiphanies are generally things that you have not thought before. So it breaks the mold, breaks the programming of Capricorn. So it is like a Aquarian, the Pour of the Star card, the Water Bear. It is the Aquarian awareness sparked into initiation. So that's the work of Scorpio, breaking through the emotional bondage of your past experiences and bringing that awareness through cultivating the value of the process. You know, Gemini can analyze and break down what has been laid out on the table, what it has gone through. And if you truly work Gemini, you're feeling into those experiences. So through the Scorpionic expression, you don't need to think too far ahead. Just do that which you have not done before. Push yourself through the boundaries of the past and allow the pioneering, creative, spontaneous energies of Aries to inform you as you go. You'll build up your own value through that process, and you will start to drop what no longer benefits you and pick up awareness for that which does. All right, so I don't know, I guess that's what I wanted to say now. It's a process. Everything's a process. All right, thanks for watching, listening, and being.